Not too long ago, Infinix was a brand that you could easily ignore. A new brand comes into the market and completely takes over. You know, there's this saying on the Kenyan roads that the car in front of you is always a Toyota. It's safe to assume that wherever you are, there's an Infinix in someone's hand. Forget how popular they have become. Infinix are also quite innovative. By this, I don't mean that they come up with anything new. No. What they do, however, is bring features and services thought to be only of premium devices into their super affordable phones. Now, they have not only brought the features and services, but they have also brought down the premium design. Then here enters the Infinix 04. I've used many Infinix devices before, but my favorite line has to be the 0 line. I was very fond of the Infinix 02. Not a big fan of the 03, however. I wasn't too crazy about the crazy edges that it had. But by far my favorite has to be the Infinix 04. It's the chamfered edges, the unibody metal design, the big camera bump, which I actually like, and the wonderful omission of the normal capacitive buttons and instead the addition of dots to take up their place. Although they are also not backlit, which is a shame. Now, most of the time when I talk about the screen, I usually refer to its resolution and brightness. All these are good here, but there is one other notable thing. The screen is very smooth, like silky smooth to the touch, lending to an awesome experience scrolling on this device. It comes with some top-notch specs as well. This base version comes with an octa-core processor, 3GB of RAM, 32GB of internal storage with an expandable microSD slot. It also comes with a super sharp Full HD 5.5-inch screen. It runs on Android 6.0 Marshmallow with the custom XOS Chameleon. I've talked about XOS a number of times and nothing much has changed here with the Infinix 04. For more of XOS, check out these videos. Using this device is a joy, well, most of the time. I'll get to that in a minute. The display is bright and crisp. Browsing the internet and reading on the 04 is a pleasant experience. Everything looks colorful and bright, so do games and videos. The HD screen with a smooth curved finish offers some great viewing experiences, something that could easily satisfy most users. The other thing that stood out for me was the performance. I've used this device solely for the past month and I can say that it has only lagged twice or thrice, and this happened when I was very low on battery. It easily handles your tasks and changing from one application to another doesn't grind the phone's performance to a halt. The 04 comes with a 3200 mAh battery, which isn't the highest number I have seen or used. Its performance, however, is different from the others. I could go through a whole day, sleep and only charge it in the morning to repeat this whole day-to-day process. The only reason I'm able to be this relaxed with the battery is because of what Infinix calls X-Charge. This is basically fast charging, and on this it is brilliant and extremely useful. You could get 100% of your battery charge in an hour and a half. The other good thing about the Infinix 04 is the camera. We have a pretty decent camera here, given how big the camera bump is. At the back we have a 16-megapixel camera with LED flash and laser autofocus. At the front we have an 8-megapixel wide selfie camera with flash, of course. If you're shooting on a bright sunny day, your pictures will look quite gorgeous. When darkness comes, however, it does struggle a bit but still manages to produce some amazing shots. The only drawback here is how overprocessed the images may feel. On the bright side, we do have manual mode here, meaning that those who like to play around with shutter speed and ISO can use it to shoot creatively. Like I said, using this device is a joy most of the time. Sometimes it does fall back a little bit. On 2 occasions, while I was browsing on just one tab on 4G, the device got overly hot. It was hot all over and woe unto you if someone decides to call you at that exact moment. Being of metal build, the heat produced is very uncomfortable to the touch. Luckily, this happens occasionally, therefore for the most part, it shouldn't bother you. Other things that didn't impress me much were small bugs or failure in hardware. For example, GPS tracking can become very frustrating. It takes a while to get your location, and even when it does that, it seems inaccurate. The other use case where you see this is when you're hailing a cab. You can't really trust on the location displayed even during the trip, but given time, it gets back to its senses. For a frequent user of maps, this can get quite frustrating. All in all, this is a pretty solid device that I would not only recommend to myself, but anyone out there in the market for a good smartphone. It's beautiful, it performs very well, and it still manages to remain affordable. Probably the best part about this device is that there's a pro version of it. It's called the Infinix 04 Plus. Not only is it bigger, but it has better specifications. And considering how good this device has been to me so far, I'll be curious to just find out how much better the Infinix 04 Plus actually is. Be sure to watch this space for that review. For $18,499, I don't think you can go wrong with this device. Be sure to subscribe and comment down below if you have any questions about this device. And as always, keep it a quiz. Bye.